That is, in effect, what I think is the task. So let me just say a few things about what we do mean at this point by social enterprise, and a few ideas about how to think about it. So notions about social enterprise. Definition. First, the idea is that it is social. By social, we mean that the basic purpose of the enterprise is something valued by society, not just by individuals. That there's a collective element to it. That it's something we are doing together as a community, as a larger community, rather than just individuals. It's not just about returns to individual investors. It's not just about the returns to individual consumers. There's some broader social purpose being served. So that's part of what we mean by social in social enterprise. Social enterprise means that there is a social mission. And the fundamental definition that we use is that a social enterprise is an organization whose central purpose is to advance the social mission. Whose central purpose. That's what we're really about. So the intent of the organization is to advance the social mission. The other interests, there may be other interests, but those interests are incidental or minor or instrumental. Instrumental means that we do those, we meet those other goals on the way to, because they help us to meet a broader social mission. But the fundamental thing that we're trying to optimize for is the advancement of the social mission. So a broad definition would include all socially mission-driven organizations. We call these SMDOs, socially mission-driven organizations. Our point is, it doesn't matter how they're organized. It doesn't matter whether they're a government organization, a non-profit organization, a for-profit. If they have a social mission that beats at the heart of their organization, they're a socially mission-driven enterprise. And we think they have common problems of management and leadership and developing standing in the world. They're very similar to each other, no matter what kind of organization they are. Whether they're a non-profit organization, government organization, for-profit organization. If it's a socially mission-driven organization, that's the important thing to notice about it. So the intermediate definition would be socially mission-driven organizations, some of whose funding comes from market-based transactions. In other words, one of the things they're doing, maybe not the only, but one of the things they're doing, and that it's an important source of their funding, is that they are engaged in a market-based transaction with someone. So there's a real product or service that's being sold there. That's a key feature. And I think that is more in keeping with the way I think the Alliance is currently defining a social enterprise. The narrowest definition, which we do hear some people insist on, is the idea that a socially mission-driven organization that is fully funded through market-based transactions. Those are the only ones who qualify as social enterprises. Now, I want to suggest to you, I think that's too narrow a definition. I think you have to allow yourself a little bit more creativity than that in how you define and how you develop and organize the enterprises that are going to advance social missions.